My name is John Mittelman. I am a plaintiff's trial lawyer. I've been practicing in California for just under 32 years. I specialize in medical malpractice and I handle catastrophic personal injury cases as well. I became involved in this case about 3 weeks after my client, William, was injured. William has multiple sclerosis, or MS. He had lost the use of all of his 4 limbs. So he was in a wheelchair being transported from his skilled nursing facility to home about 45 miles away. And the bus driver on the return trip didn't put the hydraulic lift where it should have been. And when he rolled out of the bus, there was no lift gate there. And he fell about 4 feet. His chair is about 300 pounds. And he was trapped under the chair between the chair and the asphalt. And he was treated for and had received fractures in about 9 of the bones of his 2 feet. I knew right away that the defense would argue that because he was quadriplegic, he experienced pain in a way that's different than the rest of us, and that even though he had fractured 9 bones in his feet, that he didn't suffer as much as you or I might. But the very fact that he experienced pain at all probably means that the pain that was generated from these fractures was so extreme that it was horrific pain. But that's really not what this case was about. This case was about what had been taken away from William. He had very little that his disease left for him. One of his greatest joys was to go home about 45 miles away. The one thing that he was left with was taken away from him. He had no mobility. He couldn't get up, he couldn't move in a regular wheelchair, and he was basically trapped. And that's what this case was about. This case wasn't so much about the physical damage that was done to his feet. It was about the emotional injuries and damages that he suffered and distress from being trapped in what he occasionally referred to as a prison. So my goal in contacting DK Global was to put together a settlement video that would communicate the real nuts and bolts of what this case was about. And we had to think long and hard about this. How can we turn the case of a man who fell 3 or 4 feet and broke only 9 bones in his 2 feet into a story about loss of dignity, loss of mobility, loss of his humanity? And that's what was accomplished. This video was critical in resolving this case. There's no doubt in my mind. We hadn't even filed suit. I told the defense attorney who had been assigned and the adjuster that I was preparing a settlement video. And if they had any interest in settling this case pre-litigation, pre-filing, that I would send it to them. They could have a look at it. They could meet my client. They could see what the impact of his injuries were. We settled this case in a half day of mediation for $225,000, which translates into about 350 times the amount of the medical damages. And that is an almost unheard of result. We're very happy with how this case turned out. But there's no doubt in my mind that without the product, without the settlement video, without the presentation that was put together by DK Global, this case never would have settled pre-filing, and it may never have settled before trial. I have no doubt at all in my mind.